Hey everyone, my name is Rooster and welcome back to Mechabellum. In today's video, I want to highlight the spider, the tarantula. One of the strongest units in the game right now, I think, especially on aggro. Lots and lots of HIGH MMR players are playing it, and I want to showcase you exactly why against one of the best players that we have in the game, Flower Fairy, currently sitting at around 2.6k MMR. Absolutely ridiculous. I am nowhere close, but sometimes I do get to face him, and this is exactly one of those games. Now, we will be starting with spiders and crawlers. Of course, tarantula game has to start with tarantulas, and this is one of the nicer starting packs, I think. Never mind about the specialist, although I'm happy I have it. Farseer specialist, awfully nice. Get that Farseer on round 4. I can use it. I can sell it for 300. Generally speaking, those type of specialists are very useful in the game, and it's also why they come with a lower starting HP pack. But my opponent also has not the most hit points, 3800 with the crawlers and the stormcallers. He's a rhino spec, so much like myself, will get access to that 300 cost unit on round number 4. And yeah, round 1 here, I'm gonna go for quad crawler. Reason is, my opponent doesn't have the tankiest of units, doesn't have access to like sledges or especially things like Sabertooth, so I don't need DPS units just yet. And the second thing is, I don't really want to play marksman. Sometimes you can start with spider marksman, and then, I mean, if it's in your starting pack, there's no way around it, but typically you would want to pair this with a phoenix, if you can. And so I like to just wait round 1 and make sure that I set up my chaff, because chaff is going to be extremely important for these type of tarantula based boards. The other thing, of course, is going to be, well, spiders. And you're going to often be focusing your early rounds up until the mid game, building your spiders and then getting to range on them. Range is something you would often want to take around round 3 if you can, sometimes on round 4, but the earlier you can afford it without compromising the rest of your board, the better. And so here, round number 2, it's a bit of a setup turn. I decide to pick up the redeployment because I feel like I can make good use of it later on. I could flank, then move something on the flank, and it will still be spawned in. So that can create some really nasty plays. We'll have to see if we get the opportunity to. And I just decide to flesh out my board even more. I'm going to go for a Fang here on the left tower because I don't want my opponent to cheese it. He could still do so with like a crawler or something, but at least this protects a little bit against, say, a Phoenix, right? I also decided to pick up a Wasp because if my opponent goes Phoenix, which is what I was expecting, it screens the flank against it, and then if it's on the main board, I have an anti-air unit that should perform pretty well into it. And here, round 2, opponent doesn't have much anti-air. He just went for chaff. And you can see now the fangs are gone. So even though it looks like my spiders will die, I will get a default win. And that's not too bad considering I would have taken about 600 damage here if I lost and those storms and arclights were still alive. But instead, we get to pick up a win and just build our board a bit more without losing too many more hit points, which is, you know, always a boon when you're at 3,600 hit points on round 2. So here we go. And the thing here as well is it forces my opponent to do something about the Wasp. If they don't, they will get annoyed by it. I might get some more rounds. If they do, then they will probably delay other things that they might need. Because they need some DPS. I know, yes, the Stormcallers for now are performing well into the Tarantulas, but typically they will need something a bit more consistent in the long run. They will also need something that deals with Wasps consistently, though, which will usually be Mustangs, but Mustangs can struggle into Tarantula. They're not really meant to fight them. And yeah, Tarantula is just the king of chaff clear, aside from Wraith, in the long run. The fact that it has access to this high explosive ammo and can get up to 12 meters of splash means that it is pretty much invulnerable to things like Shielded Fang, to things like Loose Formation. Whereas other chaff clear units do have issues, right? Arclights struggles against Shielded Fang, struggles against Loose Formation. Mustang struggles against Crawler, especially if it has Subterranean Blitz. And so spiders just scale really well, and you get to build them from the very start. Now, round number 2, or round number 3, excuse me, I decided to redeploy the wasps on the left side of the board because there was a wasp drop available. And if my opponent picked it up, he would likely put it either in the middle or the left because I had a wasp on the right side last turn. He doesn't go for it, but I think still fine. And either way, it is going to help this spider on the left to push into that tower. I also go for range on the spiders. Like I said, I had the money to be able to use my deployments and still get the range as well. And so now the scaling can start to begin. Well, start to begin can just start. End of sentence. Round number 3 looks like, again, we are going to win by default. 3 wasps managed to survive. I picked up a haste module on the round, and that will just help these wasps tremendously. Maybe I will be selling this later on. I don't really plan on teching the wasp. It's just here to be annoying, and I think it's already done its job being annoying so far. And then later on, when it gets countered, if it gets countered, I can sell it and retrieve the item to put it on something else. Speaking of counters, round number 4, we finally get the first rotation of unit reinforcements, and the opponent here goes for Mustang. I was expecting him to go Mustang. Phoenix wasn't too bad for him either, but Mustang does make a lot of sense. Lots of deployments. Typically, you will need Mustangs on your board if you decide to go for Arclight as your chaff clear, because again, loose formation does exist. And then at the same time, the Mustangs will also help against this wasp. It's also a counter to the Phoenix in a way, so I think this was a solid play. He picked up the item, same as me last turn. We'll be transferring that onto the Mustang. I decide to sell my Wasp now. I kind of know that he's picking this, so no point in holding on to that. I have my Farseer, he has his Rhino. I get my Phoenixes though. Nice amount of DPS, expecting that big unit to show up, and I still get to use my deployments here and invest into more Tarantulas. So we buy 2 more Tarantulas, one here on the left, one on the shallow flank, and then we buy a crawler as well. And this is, again, really important, right? You want to get crawlers kind of everywhere. 3, sometimes even 4 layers that just slowly run into the opponent's team. Opponent starting to buy some sabers from the looks of it, but that died pretty quick. Phoenixes managed to lock on immediately. Spider on the corner doing quite well, considering it had to spawn in for 2 seconds. And it looks like we will be losing the round. Some of my Phoenixes are getting locked onto. They have the same range right now as those Tarantulas, but they're a bit faster, so they tend to get in front. And, well, yeah, we do lose, but it's not that terrible, and I think I still like my position here. Yeah, look at that. I mean, you can't really complain. Losing the round, but then getting an advanced power system and getting 3 levels on the Tarantulas is fantastic. I can also go for high explosive, which is the second tech you will often want. This just boosts the Tarantula's chaff capabilities to S tier. And yeah, super, super powerful. I sell my Farseer that allows me to get all of this and then still have enough to buy some chaff. And I'm going to be putting a Fang here all the way up front because I don't want this unit to insta-lock my Tarantulas. I'm going to pick up some Phoenixes as well. Opponent going to be putting a Saber here in front of my Spider. I could move this up, but I'm not sure if I will remember to do so. Maybe next turn. And I will say, I am now Farseer Specialist, right? I got the money from the sell. And I'm also now a Speed Specialist with that 3 bonus movement speed. And I think Speed Spec is probably one of the best packs in the game right now when you have Spider Crawler as a starter. I think it is so powerful. And yeah, generally this card is just extremely good to pick up if you're playing aggressive. It does look like, again, we will be losing, but it's once more a marginal loss where the left side is winning. Tarantula is clearing up. We will get debuffed. And eventually my Spider and my Tarantula will... my Spider and my Phoenix, excuse me, will fall. But I really like my setup here. I think we're in a super good spot. I got to where I needed to be. I can still, of course, click range, which is mandatory. That will help the Phoenixes survive a bit longer. And we get a choice of unit reinforcements on round 6. There's 2 options here that are pickable for me, in my opinion. I can go Phantom Ray, like Flower Fairy does, which can help against a potential Fortress anti-air. Or I could go for the Sandworm. And I decided to go for the Sandworm because I've lately really been liking the Mechanical Division. And I think that the opponent's board here would struggle quite a lot against a level 2 Sandworm and against that Mechanical Division. We pick up the range on the Phoenixes as well. This will mean that they don't get in front of the Tarantulas, so that is quite helpful. Spider, as you can see, gets moved up onto the flank. It is still spawned in because we haven't moved it elsewhere, and that means it gets to shoot at Crawlers and Mustangs instead. I'm also buying another Phoenix, which is going to be here on the line with the tower. That means that it will be able to screen against a flank, and the flank is coming in here with one Phantom being sold, but one being put over there. So I'm happy that I went for this. I also go for Charge Shot immediately, as I saw that my opponent was going for Sabertooth, and I was expecting him to pick up something big. It ends up being a Fortress. He sells a Phantom and then buys 2 Fortresses with anti-air. I think this is a perfectly fine counter, very, very common. Fortress is meant to be strong against Spiders, and it has access to anti-air, which is a counter to Phoenix. But as you can see, because of the reduced range on Phoenix, the first salvo actually misses, and then once the Phoenixes lock on, the Fortresses just disappear very quickly. And you've got plenty of tools to your disposal as the aggro player here to kind of save your Phoenixes, right? You can get a Phantom drop, for instance, like you saw, and just put that in front to tank the first missiles. You can go shield if you run it, which I do, or you can even go something like Charge Shot, right? Which is also a bit of a counter, because as long as you can lock onto the Fortress, you'll be able to get rid of it very fast, which means that there's going to be less missile salvos to deal with. Round number 7, I get a nasty item, Nano Repair Kit there. Probably one of the best things you can get when you're into Sandworms. This has been the bane of high MMR players and probably all players for a while. It showed up quite a lot in games, in Arc Worm compositions as well. It's extremely hard to deal with, so we'll have to see how this goes. 2 more Fortresses picked up now for the opponent. Going to sell his Phantom, and I decide to pick up a 3rd tech on my Phoenixes. We are going to go for Energy Shield because I'm invested now. I have made the decision that Phoenix is my DPS, so there's no way of getting out of it, and I just need them to survive for long enough to dish out their damage and get rid of the Fortresses. Wasp Swarm is back off cooldown for my opponent. I am not dealing with this right now. Have 50 in the bank, but that's a bit risky. Probably should have put a missile back there. I definitely could have gotten debuffed. Let's see. What do I go for? Crawler here on the top right. Another Sandworm getting picked up, as I saw that this one was doing quite well. And then a Crawler in the middle. Okay, I do at least put a Crawler there in the back middle, which means that if the Wasp was there, it would likely get pulled towards the center instead of going to my towers. But that's a bit risky for me. Definitely an oversight. Right side, I think Spider's still doing well. Managing to kill quite a few of those units. Sandworm healing. Low on hit points, but you'd be surprised at how hard this is to take down. And can we win here? Looks like the Phoenixes somehow all died, which I was rather surprised by. But I still have some big spiders left, and well, these level 2 larvae are being awfully annoying for the opponent to deal with. Look at that. Just kind of chaff clearing through these Mustang, and this is a level 3 spider right here. Can the Sabertooth take it down? I feel like the answer will be yes. But that was a very, very close round. But maybe here opponent is stabilizing. He did loan. I'm not sure that I did. I think I probably did though. Round 7, I am down to like sub 2k, so I probably should have. Round number 8, more unit reinforcements. Vulcans now being picked up by the opponents. Going to go for an oil play, trying to just burn my chaff, which should help quite a bit. I have a fair amount of crawlers at this stage. Now I could go for Hound with Sprinkler if I'm expecting this. Could also just play for the cell though. Going to pick up the Overlord instead. Keeping the Overlord, not a bad idea either, if I'm being completely honest. And yeah, you can see here, I'm going to go for some Phantoms of my own. with the armor. Because right now I can see that my opponent is only relying on Mustangs for his anti-air alongside the Forte A, and that's not consistent enough to deal with these tankier air targets, right? So that's why I pick up the Overlord as well, because I know that this is not going to die any second. Looks like I didn't go for the shield after all, so that's probably why my Phoenixes died. I saw the resources kind of jump up at some point on the last round, so I think I just thought about it and was like, it was looking fine the first round, I can probably get away with it. For now, we've got the frontliners, the Phantoms, and that level 2 boat, so we should be okay, but if this goes for another round, I should likely pick up that portable shield. Boat's going to lock on pretty quickly to that Vulcan, so it does ignite the soil, but that'll be about it. Worm locked onto that fortress. There was a Phoenix locked onto it as well, but man, oh man, does that disappear quickly. Left side, we're kind of just mitigating, trying to get rid of as many units as we can. Pretty decent Forte A salvo, I will say, but the Phoenix that's still alive does take one more fortress down, and meanwhile, the right side is collapsing. Fortress, very low on hit points. Wow, okay, that is one hell of a long-range fortress punch. Going straight into my tower, but the anti-air is dwindling, and I still have some Phantoms left. And more importantly, I still have my level 2 boat and my Nano Sandworm left alive. So now, opponent down to 700 hit points. Round number 9, we get Ion Blast. Just such a strong spell. We cannot be skipping that, so of course we pick it up. And I should probably be aiming that here on the left side. Right now, this side is the one that's struggling the most. The right side really seems completely fine. And I decide to sell my Overlord. This is the debatable thing to do. I could have probably kept it. It did alright in my opinion. And if it survives, it deals 400 damage, which is not insignificant. But selling it also means I have much more money left available. And that means I can get into something like Energy Shield. And maybe buy some other units as well. Opponent going to go for a Wasp play here. I am relatively vulnerable to it. Now, my Tarantulas do have anti-aircraft ammunition on the bar, but I would have to survive the round to be able to take that. We are going to level the Spiders. We are going to go for Portable Shield, or Energy Shield as it's called, on Phoenixes. And the Wasp play now, going to be level 1 Wasps. So he tried level 2 first. I guess he didn't really have the money to do what he wanted. So refunds and then goes back to level 1s. Triple Wasp here with shield and anti-air. They are kind of sparse though, and there are some Phantoms in the way. Of course, they're not great against Wasp, but these are only level 1. We'll have to see. Can we get through? Ion Beam, I think, is better for me. These worms don't really care about it. Maybe he can hit my Phoenixes. That would probably be the best case. Let's have a look. He does hit one of my Phoenixes. The other one completely fine, though. And I have to say, this Ion Beam for me, not too shabby. Going to hit my other Phoenixes, though, on the way. So, somewhat of a trade, tit for tat. Right side, though, still absolutely dominating, crushing right now. The Wasps have been taken care of. Some are still alive, but most of them have gone down. And now the Worm, healing back up. I mean, Nano Repair Kit is quite the item. Absolutely crazy value for only 150 cost. And we will now get the tower debuff. Only one fortress left. Can we win this round? 788 hit points left. There's a Worm still alive, a Spider, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Phoenixes. So you do the math, that is going to be over 1,000 damage. And that'll be enough here to take down Flower Fairy. One of my Phoenixes there dying at the end, but a very nice game. And kind of showcasing how powerful this comp really can be. And it's not very difficult to play either, in my opinion. It's a comp that you can play from round 1 onwards because Tarantulas are starting packs. You just invest into them the early game. You pick up a Phoenix if you need some anti-air or some DPS, and then you just kind of flow chart it out, right? You buy your chaff, you go range and on round 3. You buy 4, 5, 6 spiders, how many you want. Sometimes you can put them on the flanks as well, like I did there. And yeah, I mean, it just flows pretty nicely, right? Play around the unit drops. Sometimes I guess Fortress can be tricky, and you can play Spider with Melter just fine, but it's just so versatile. Like, this unit is insanely good. It is the only like starter chaff that can deal with anything. Again, deals with crawlers, deals with loose formation, deals with shielded fang. You name it, it can take care of it with those double techs, and the DPS is not bad either. Anyway, if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of Spider and this comp. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Have you played aggro, or do you only play defense? Let me know. If you want to stay updated with my latest content, please consider subscribing. And if you want to see me play live, check me out on Twitch. With that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.